another question around the exercise, because that's really interesting, right? Everyone has a different, like, their bodies have different ways of adapting to exercise. So what is the body doing? Like, what does it have to adapt to? Like, what's happening cellularly that can obviously make someone feel bad the next day?
Inflammation. So when your body doesn't react to a stress, when you're exercising, you're creating an oxidative stress that your body then adapts to, raises up certain hormones, right? And this process of healing starts when it adapts. Then you become a little stronger and better each time. But when you don't adapt, then you're left in an inflamed state. And then it's tearing you down, not building you up. Even a trained athlete understands this, because they can also hit a point of where they're overtraining and then they're getting weaker. I went through it as a cyclist. You literally have to stop, cut back, take rest. And by the way, when I was getting sick, I thought I was just overtraining. So I cut back on my miles, only to realize I was getting worse. Cut back even more, it took 10 days off, and then I realized something else. There was another stressor at play. I just didn't know what it was. So yeah, again, repeating myself, but exercise, we'll call that a physical stress. Chemical stress. So I had a lot of chemical, didn't know it. And I was trying to add more stress via working out, and my body was not having it. It had to deal with this. So working out can be your friend or your enemy. Figure out where that tolerance level is, because you don't want to add a negative stress. That's bad.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you for clarifying how that works. So I want to make sure you have a chance to talk about a few things, and we've kind of touched on them throughout this interview, but your book, as well as I think it was a 90-day plan, as well as your Cyto detox. So everybody, there's like many buttons below this video that lead over to Dr. Pompa's site and those various things. So could you share a little bit about each of those?
Yeah, I mean, the 90-day plan is that's just good for everyone. I mean, this is a very, very simple anti-inflammatory way of eating that was critical for when I was sick and getting well. That's what that offer is, and recipes and things of that sort, and an eating plan. My book really deals with fasting and how to implement. Look, I believe we're all genetically programmed to fast, and when we don't, bad things build up. So I believe we all need fasting at some level. My book takes you through that. Even my diet variation strategies are in the book. And what does that mean? Meaning that if we all stay on the same diet, we actually get sick. So people they hang their shingle, or hang their hat in a single camp. I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, I'm paleo, I'm keto. I believe that's very dangerous. I love all of those diets, but the magic isn't in the diet. The magic is in changing the diet. And in the book, I discuss why that is, and how that to hormonally optimize, you actually have to change your diet. So I talk about how to do that weekly, monthly. So for example, ladies, the week before your cycle, you have cravings. There's a reason for that hormonally. And when you give into that in a right way, you can actually maximize your hormones for the rest of the month. That's monthly variation. We do what I call feast-famine cycles, where I have feast days, like a feast day every week. Sometimes people need more. People with thyroid and thyroid problems, adrenal problems, actually need more feast-famine, where they'll do a day of higher carbohydrates and a day where they do maybe just 500 calories, very low, and then a day of higher. So these feast-famine cycling, it's a way of biohacking into your hormones. Why? Because your body, when you make these changes, it's like exercise. It has to adapt. So I teach you how you can figure this out for your own self, even looking at little blood pricks of glucose and ketones. But anyways, the book really is replete of these examples of how we hormonally optimize.
And also, if you could mention a little bit more about Cyto Detox. So this is something that we offered on a past event that you and Warren were part of, and people loved it. So how does that work, and kind of tying it into, our viewers struggling with PTSD and interested in detoxing?
Well, remember, if you get rid of the chemical stress, then it helps you adapt to those stresses, right? So that's how it fits in. But it's a very, very amazing particle that has the ability to get into the cell, the very small particles, but have bigger particles that stay outside the cell. those are the ones that protect from redistributing more toxins around the body. So it's a very clever and thought out product that we've evolved over the years. It's a very clean chelator, which is very important too, because some of these similar products on the market, they're actually very dangerous. And I'm a big critic of them. Honestly, that's why we ended up creating our own, because of the problems that we had with some of these real chelators and how the toxins they carry with it. And some of them, these little cages, imagine that like your body will utilize these cages to put toxins in, just to keep it simple. Not only can they hold toxins, but when they make the product, they break them down. They're too fragmented and don't work. So Cytodetox is a product that's clean, first and foremost, don't do harm. And second of all, it actually has these intact particles that are measured literally. Here are the intact particles, and we measure that in different ways. So it's a product that not just we use, but thousands of doctors around the world utilize this, and y'all are making it available directly to the people. So that's a good thing.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Talking about all those things. So everyone, I highly recommend you, get started on any of those things that you're interested in. And the 90-day plan is free, as well as the book. And then there's the Cytodetox. And thank you for doing this again. And I've loved our conversation. And I love tying together two of my favorite things in the world, which is physical health and mental health. And, you did such a great job of that. So any last insights, anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, look, I think that I hope people heard the fact that you have to deal with the physical, chemical, and emotional. Evaluate your traumas, your stressors, but typically it's a perfect storm. If you can get to those storms, you will get well, and I'm proof positive of that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for doing this again. I so appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone who's tuning in and watching or listening right now for showing up for yourself today on your journey. And we will see you again real soon. Take care.